Good afternoon. My name is Pearl Chang Esau, and I'm the president and CEO of Expect More Arizona. And for those of you who aren't familiar with our organization, Expect More Arizona is a statewide, nonpartisan education advocacy organization. And we are working with over 30 cities and towns, as well as over 200 partners, many of whom I see in the room today, to raise awareness and to spur action about the most critical issues in education facing our students and the future of our state. And that's why we are so excited to be the implementation partner for Read On Arizona's new language and literacy awareness campaign. I'm happy to be here today to share with you the motivation behind this campaign, as well as what you can expect from us in the coming year. So as we have been talking about really all this whole conference, learning to read starts from birth with early language development. A child's experiences in the early years affects how their brain develops, and each learning experience builds on another. And research also shows that talking with a baby stimulates brain development that provides the foundation for later, higher level skills. We know that talking with a baby sets that child up to hit other important milestones that lead to reading proficiency, which is, of course, the goal that we're all here working towards. We also know that parents have the greatest influence on children's language and literacy development. Research actually shows that this is true for all children, regardless of their socioeconomic standing or the language that is spoken in their homes. Read On Arizona's new language and literacy campaign is intended to engage and support parents and caregivers as partners in early language and literacy development. So you may have heard about a landmark study that shows that children who heard more words in the early years were better prepared when they entered school. And we know, and as Robert actually just touched on, we know that this gap is even more persistent with students who are growing up in low-income communities. And in fact, we see that with students from low-income backgrounds, that the gap is about 30 million words, and they have about half the vocabulary of their peers by the time they reach the age of 3. Those same kids, when they're followed to 3rd grade, we see that the amount of words that they've heard have an impact on their vocabularies. It has an impact on their ability to read, and it has an impact on their test scores. So we know that the quantity of words that children hear starting from birth really matters. However, we also know that new research is showing that it's not just the quantity that matters, it's also the quality of the talk between children and their parents that can make the most difference. And the most important thing that parents can do is expose their children to high-quality words through frequent conversations and through sharing books. And that's what our awareness campaign is going to be all about. So what do we mean by quality interactions with words? It's about conversations, back and forth interactions with babies and toddlers that are responsive to the child and are centered around everyday routines that involve questions like who, what, when, and where. Research shows us that language and early literacy skills, including oral language, vocabulary, and comprehension, are made from these kinds of caring back and forth interactions. So as Expect More Arizona has been working with Read on preparing for this campaign, I've actually been trying to apply this to my own life a little bit. And I actually have 2 children, one on the way, and one that's 5 and one that's 3. And of course, the second one experiences a little bit of the second child syndrome, where I think we did a really great job talking with our first child, and then the second child kind of ran around in the dirt. But, you know, I thought, gosh, I really need to, practice what I preach, and we're doing this big campaign with Read On, and, I gotta up my game here as a parent. And so I thought, okay, everyday interactions, how can I apply this? Well, my son is actually potty training right now. And so what was previously happening was that every 30 minutes on the timer, I would show up in his room and say, "It's potty time!" And he would run to the bathroom and go to the bathroom. And I thought, I really need to apply what we're learning here and what we're going to be telling other parents to be doing. And so I tried the who, what, when, where questions, and they proved to be incredibly effective. So I asked questions such as, who is the big boy who goes pee on the potty now? And he says, Ziggy! And I said, where do you go when you need to go pee? He goes, I go to the potty. And then remember, when you go pee-pee, what do you get? And he says, gummies. And, I just went on and on and on, and eventually he finally said, I stopped talking to you, Mommy. So for my son, who is actually somewhat speech delayed, I considered this a miraculous victory that he engaged with me in an entire 5W set of conversations, and proved to myself that a little bit of intentionality around engaging conversations with your young children really does make a difference. So, Expect More Arizona will be working with Read On Arizona to develop messaging and materials to help Read On partners throughout the state connect families with these helpful tools that increase quality interactions between parents and children, which will ultimately support reading success. The campaign is actually going to draw from research-based work like Georgia's Talk With Me Baby campaign, which many of you may have heard about, where they introduced the concept of language nutrition. And just as healthy food nourishes a baby's growing body, language nutrition nourishes a baby's brain. And for parents and caregivers, the message is that feeding your child lots of loving words, especially in the first 3 years of life, improves lots of things, including brain development, vocabulary skills, school readiness, and academic performance. So we will be developing clear, easy to understand information and resources to highlight for parents and caregivers the idea that providing children with abundant high-quality language nutrition will put babies on a path toward reading proficiency, high school graduation, as well as lifelong success. Tools and resources are going to be made available in Spanish and English, and will be taking into account Arizona's diverse population. And of course, there will be many more details to come. Over the coming months and year, Expect More Arizona and Read On Arizona are very much looking forward to working with our partners and with everyone here in this room to share this campaign in communities across the state. And my daughter, who is turning 6 this year, actually had her first week of kindergarten last week. And so that was a big transition, probably bigger for Mommy than for Kaya. But one of the things that she's been coming home with every day is telling me that part of her homework is that she has to read for 20 minutes every night. And sometimes Mommy is really not energetic enough to be reading for 20 minutes every night, but she absolutely insists and literally puts her foot down, is adamant, and says, I have to read for 20 minutes every night. And so sometimes what this looks like at the end of a long day for my husband and me, my husband's a principal, is that she goes to bed with her chosen book, looks at the picture, reads to herself because nobody's reading to her, and she falls asleep on her book. And I walk by her room, and it just reminds me that it really does take a village. And I know we've talked about it a lot already today, but I think about all the experiences of us talking to her, but also friends and family talking with her, the high-quality early learning experiences that she was blessed enough to receive, and now the wonderful new kindergarten teacher she has that is already generating in her a passion for reading. And so with that, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart as a parent, and I know that everyone in here is an incredible advocate for early education. So thank you for what you do every day, and Expect More Arizona and Read On Arizona are very excited to bring you this campaign in the months to come. Thank you.